Welcome to West Nale Virus, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August, I think, 5th.
It's Thursday.
August 5th. It's not Wednesday. Usually, actually, we record this episode on Wednesday, but we're not even doing that this time. I just said it was Wednesday.
Mhm.
That being said, anyway.
I think that's the second time you've done this in a week.
It is. I'm not very good at the days of the week.
It's been a long week for you.
Apparently. So it's Thursday, August 5th, 2021. An important distinction, what year it is. So today we're going to be doing our first get to know with Caleb. We've done 2 get to knows with Josiah, and we should have done one already with Caleb, but we missed it last week. So we are doing it today. Oops, dropped something. And my question for you today, Caleb, is this.
Tell me, what is it?
Why are you a fan of the Fresno State Bulldogs?
Oh, man.
You asked me this question, but Georgia Bulldogs last week. And I decided it would be interesting to get to know why you.
So now you're returning the favor.
State. Exactly.
First, I'm just gonna plug the podcast really quick. West Nale Virus on YouTube. You can watch this and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. But why am I a fan of Fresno State, of the Fresno State Bulldogs? Well, the simple and short answer, if we go all the way back to the beginning, is that I grew up in Fresno. So, and it's the one Division I college in the area.
Right.
So my family was going to Fresno State football games, basketball games. I grew up going to Fresno State football every Saturday and going to Fresno State basketball. I grew up as a Fresno State fan, a Bulldog fan. And then, you get older and you kind of learn, you can start to make your own decisions and things like that. And start to get your own responsibilities. And throughout that whole time, I stayed strong and I didn't jump on any other bandwagon. And I want my dream or my goal, I guess you could call it a dream. My entire life was to go to Fresno State and be a part of the athletic program at Fresno State. That didn't end up happening.
Right.
I did high school completely wrong. But anyways, but I attended Fresno State as well. I was in the wine program there and I met my wife there. And so she's a Bulldog. I'm a Bulldog. My mom went there. My dad actually went there for a little bit. But anyways, you could talk to almost anybody in my family and they've spent time at Fresno State. And plus it's kind of cheap. So that's good. Comparatively
thing
to all the rest of the schools in the California.
Yeah. Especially. Yeah.
So yeah, but no, we grew up going to games. I grew up going to games, tailgating, and oh yeah, it was a blast. And there's such a I don't know. It's a tradition. Fresno State football is a tradition across college football. I mean, we have a tough team, hard-nosed team, and we've always been that way for the most part. Some years in there that we don't like to talk about, but
now I believe your main rivals are Boise State.
Yeah, on paper it should be San Diego State and San Jose State. But
okay, gotcha.
But we have hated one with Boise.
Because Fresno State and Boise State were the 2 best teams in the Mountain West for a very long time.
Right. So Fresno
Maybe
State,
a couple of years where that wasn't the case, but
yeah, we were in the WAC.
Right.
I think we were in something else before I was around. But when I was around growing up, we were in the WAC, and Boise State was a terrible team. They sucked. and kind of Fresno State was the stud. We were the stud team. And then they beat us one year and kind of not when we were really good, and they beat us.
Yeah.
And then they kind of took.
They beat Georgia one year.
Yeah, well,
I'll never forget
that was a few. This was I'm talking like
that
a
was
long
later on.
Yeah,
but
a while after they beat us, they kind of went on their run and started getting good recruits, and so we kind of flip flopped places.
right.
I mean, we've stuck around. We've gone through our fair share of coaches.
Now
Go
you
ahead.
do have a new coach, correct? Or
Yeah.
not new this year, but he was, I believe, his first year was last year.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer. He's awesome.
Things are looking up under him, you think?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I've been to an event with him speaking there, and I got to shake his hand and talk to him and listen to him. It was a small event, so it was pretty nice, intimate.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then but the Fresno State culture it's like you say most colleges, are like family based and things like they say that, but there is a total family vibe going on at Fresno State just because the Central Valley in California goes from it's like below the Bay Area, so you have like San Jose, everything below San Jose down to Bakersfield is considered like the Central Valley. There's there's more than 1 million people, but in the city of Fresno there's 600,000 people, and then the surrounding small farm towns around it, there's about 1 million people. So it's pretty small. You're one person away from everybody in the valley. That's the saying. If you don't know them, they know somebody that you have mutual friends.
Right.
And
well, for those who don't know, Caleb does another podcast that I don't know if you have any recent episodes up or not. I'm not sure, but I believe there's some coming out soon. If not,
yes. Yeah.
Another podcast called the Beware of Bulldogs podcast. And if you're a Fresno State fan or want to know about Fresno State, you should definitely go check that out.
Or you need a home. Fresno State is always welcome.
If you want a new team to be a fan of, absolutely go choose Fresno State.
Yeah.
But yeah, Beware Bulldogs podcast. He talks to a lot of athletes or coaches or people involved in the athletics program of Fresno State, current or former. And I don't know. Who's your favorite person that you've got to talk to?
Oh man.
I'm not your favorite person, but like,
yeah.
What's some interesting insight that somebody's given you on Fresno State athletics?
So when I first started, it was easiest to get a hold of the seniors that are just finished playing, like whatever sport that is.
Right. Yeah.
They don't have a whole lot going on. They just finished their season. I can jump in there and grab them. So I'll say when you're podcasting and you're just kind of having conversations and you have them tell their story, and you talk to maybe a younger kid that just finished college, it's a little harder. And I can relate to this because I was that guy, that person in college. You're only playing sports. You only play in your entire life, all through college. So all is sports, and there's not, you can get a bunch of stories from that, but there's, it stops at a certain point. And it's all sports. And you can only learn so much, and talk about so much when you're 20 years old and you've been playing sports your entire life. So what I learned from a lot of those episodes is how the coaches work. They talk about their coaches and their culture for that sport, and kind of where the kid's from. And my goal is to just bring that to Fresno State fan base. We call ourselves the Red Wave. So I bring that to the Red Wave, and so that they kind of feel a connection to the people that they're cheering on. But then I have older guys or gals that have been, out and they've finished their college career. they maybe had a professional career in sports. Now they're on to, they finished their professional career. Now they're on to something else, and they have families that they've started. They've built businesses. They've
Right.
helped start businesses. And so there's a lot of other different things. And so, they're a little more mature, understand how things work a little different outside of sports. And so those are ran a little differently too. So I enjoy both of those. I enjoy both of those. Some of the people that I've talked to, Marcus McMarion, he is he was our quarterback a few years ago. He was a lot of fun. He's a great guy. Andrew Whitworth, he's a offensive lineman, and he's got a good story. A fun one that I did that I had a lot of fun doing was Steve Hosey. And Steve Hosey is he's a baseball player for Fresno State, and he's an older guy. And he was drafted, played in the MLB for a little bit, and now he does a lot of work locally in Fresno. I learned a lot.
It's cool giving back to his college community.
Yeah, and even not only the college community, but the Central Valley community, just giving back,
right? Yeah,
and helping out. So I really like, and I love being educated. I love learning. So,
right.
When people are educating me on different things, and
right.
I like talking, like, and we'll do this on this, like logistics or schematic stuff when it comes to football, like, because I play quarterback, reading coverages and route trees, or basketball, like zones and mans and man defenses, presses, play. Like, I love talking that stuff. So if I can talk to someone like that understands those things, I always try to take advantage of it and learn something.
Yeah, it's fun. Learn a little bit. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you talked about the red wave, and a little bit earlier you talked about tradition. What are some big traditions, or like
at Fresno State?
Yeah, at Fresno State, that you and the red wave and Fresno State athletics and everybody kind of takes part in?
So my favorite tradition that we used to have, but they stopped due to COVID. Thank you, COVID. But we call it, we had this tunnel, right? And so they have, the locker room is separate from the stadium. And so they'd fence off this, it's not a tunnel, it's just two fences, right? And the teams walk between it. And so the opposing team, right, comes out first to the locker room, and they walk out. And you have to understand about the Red Wave. A lot of Red Wave fans are Raiders fans, because we are so rough around the edges. We are a farming community, and we're tough. So one of the traditions is, if we get punched in the face, we punch you right back. No, I just made that up, but that's how we kind of have this like hate your mother attitude, and we're hard nosed, tough, mentally tough, physically tough, and we don't back down. But anyways, back to this tradition, this walk, and we just berate the opposing team. We talk about their moms. It was the best, and former players that played against Fresno State will talk about that. Oh man, we were walking down, and I mean, it seems like all Fresno there is just screaming and yelling at you, and you think you're just absolutely hated, which for a moment you may have been. And then Fresno walks out, and the Bulldogs walk out, and we're going crazy, and we just get them freaking hyped.
Big cheers and everything. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. That's for football. Now, of course, we have tailgating, and our baseball team. I talk about tradition. Our baseball team is always good. We actually won the national championship, greatest underdog story ever, and we may have been the lowest seed ever to win like any tournament, like in the history. Maybe Leicester City when they won the Premier League was lower, but anyway, like the odds. But anyways, I mean, so that baseball in itself is a tradition at Fresno State, because we've always had a good baseball team, and baseball in the Central Valley of California is one of the best places in the United States to recruit. We have amazing baseball players.
A lot of baseball, a lot of baseball players there.
Yeah. So when I think about Fresno State tradition, the other tradition that I absolutely love, and I don't know when this started. I think it was recently, within the past 10 years. I think I could be wrong about this though.
Right.
After every basketball game, our basketball team, they do their talk and everything. And for the people that stick around, they go and high five around the court and give hugs to everyone that's still there. And I
That's
love
cool.
that. Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
so it's totally family based. We say Valley Pride because we're the Valley, and I know the basketball program specifically says Valley Tough. And like I said, or I mentioned earlier, we get punched in the face, we're gonna hit you right back, and we don't care how big you are. That's kind of this Valley toughness that.
And for those who don't know, if you see the Bulldogs flag behind him on the wall, for those on YouTube, for those on Spotify, I'm sorry, but it has a little like necklace, not necklace. What do you call it? A collar.
Dog tag.
It's got a collar.
Collar.
Dog tag with a little V on it, and the V is green. And V is not. Green is not a color of Fresno State, but the V is. It just stands for the Central Valley, and it's green.
Yeah, we call it the green V. Stands for the
Valley.
Because it is. Yeah, it's on the back of our helmets. You'll see.
Yeah,
I really would love to have Fresno State have a green alternate jersey to represent the Valley, and actually our women's basketball team did that. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah,
I don't know if it doesn't really
to see.
Maybe it works for basketball season because it's around Christmas time, so you can do the green, red, and white.
True. It's pretty Christmassy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So you talked about tailgating a little bit, which obviously, every team has tailgating to some extent. I mean,
right. I would hope
there might be some team out there that just nobody tailgates, and that would be horrible. And I'm really sorry, but no. So people always talk about, like SEC tailgating and stuff like that. And, and I grew up only going to Georgia tailgates, and so I don't really know anything different. I went to Ole Miss one time, which they say is the best tailgating experience.
I've heard that.
I don't agree.
Okay.
But my question for you is, I guess, what have you ever experienced tailgating? College tailgating.
Okay.
Outside of Fresno State, and how would you compare? Like, have you been to SEC games, or have you been to maybe
like Power
bigger,
5 or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Like bigger programs, more money, more fans, etc.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this first. I'll preface it with this: Fresno State tailgating is wonderful. We don't have the best setup. Right. But if you have the money, it's really nice.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've tailgated at San Jose State. That's a group of 5. Doesn't compare to Fresno State.
Right.
I have been to Stanford games because my dad is a Stanford alum, and so he likes to make it back, and so I want to go, so I go with him, and they have beautiful tailgating. It's really nice. It kind of reminds me of the pictures they show of Ole Miss, like, and they've got the trees and everything.
Yeah.
Stanford is very similar. But the crowd isn't as rowdy at Stanford.
Right.
Fresno, that's what I love about Fresno State, the Fresno State Bulldogs, and the fan base, the Red Wave, is that we are so rowdy. So right. I mean, we can only fit 40,000 people in our stadium, and I haven't seen it packed. We could fit 42,000, and when Derek Carr was there, I think we got like 46,000 people in there. I mean, it was insane, right? And I haven't really seen it packed since then, which is unfortunate.
Well, I mean, and of course, this last year you were at
nobody was allowed
capacity, or no one was allowed. I don't really know
what
it was exactly, but yeah, I mean,
but yeah, pregame stuff in Fresno, group of 5. I don't know. Well, I shouldn't say group of 5. I don't know any group of 5, and I hate saying that. People that get to know us will figure that I don't like that. But anyways, small budget. We it doesn't. What I enjoy about Fresno State and tailgating and being in the fans, and even in in the basketball arena or in the baseball diamond, is that there's not 100,000 people, right? So, and that's what I don't like about pro sports. You kind of go with your crew, yes, but you kind of stick with your crew, right? You're not
Right.
branching out. In Fresno, who everybody talks to each other, everyone, and it's a
Right.
little different. I mean, it is kind of like that in college too. I guess you could say. I'm sure people are thinking like, well, we do that too. Everyone has a Georgia Bulldog shirt on, so
Right.
they feel comfortable talking to him. But in Fresno, like I said, you're one person away. You find the connection, and then we go crazy together, and it's so fun.
Right.
I mean, I haven't found anything like it, and I've been to NFL games. They suck.
Yeah, I've been to. I shouldn't really say I've been to NFL games. I've been to one NFL preseason game with you.
Oh, that's right.
Went to an Oakland Raiders versus at the time St. Louis Rams game. And I guess at the time Oakland Raiders as well. Wow, both of those teams have moved now.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But yeah, no, Fresno State. Yeah, so it's obviously it's a bit of a smaller college, and
I think there's like 25,000 kids that attend the school.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, I shouldn't say a smaller college. As far as athletics go, it has not been able to reach the success that, which I think largely is due to the fact that, you just can't get recruits when you're not in the Power 5.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough to pull. Yeah. When you have a kid from California that's really good, let's say a 4-5 star coming out of college, doesn't matter in any sport.
Right.
It's hard to say, well, why don't you come down to Fresno when Stanford, UCLA, USC, San Diego's, when he could go there and live on the beach, because now we are 2 hours away from the beach. We're an hour away from the mountains where there's beautiful lakes and we could ski. So we're kind of we're in a good spot. But when people think of going to college, they don't think of that. They want to go to the beach and party.
Right.
So we lose out on a lot of those kids, which is unfortunate. But I think we're going to start getting them soon. Our new athletic director, Terry Toomey, he's awesome. He's getting some great coaches in, and he's building this culture kind of to what Fresno State used to be.
Are you excited to see how DeBoer kind of helps your football program specifically?
Yeah, I can already see it. Tedford was a dream. If I could have Tedford for the
rest of time.
Oh man, he's so good and smart and a good guy, and he's so tough.
Right. He was doing really well. And for those who don't know, he had to step down for
health reasons.
But.
Yeah. And he's still in Fresno, I think. And so when I first was a Bulldog, when I first started attending Fresno State football games, Pat Hill was our coach. And he kind of instilled this, well, not even him. It was before that. He was like Sweeney. But, this, I keep mentioning this hard-nosed toughness and mentality. And then we had a new coach come in, and it's no good. It was bad.
Right.
So, and then Tedford came back. He brought it around, and we've really pulled in some good recruits. That mentality is back. So the red wave, we love it when coaches come in and they understand what the expectation is, because, and it's nice to, so like these coaches, when they come in from out of town here, let me just explain it to you. They want the big recruits, right? Well, Fresno State, I almost want to say we like getting the underdogs, like the underrated recruits with a chip on their shoulder, then want to prove something. They come in and they just want to knock people's socks off, and take their heads off along with their socks. And because they weren't recruited by, the UCLA's, and I mentioned UCLA because we go in and we smacked them last time we played them, and we play them this year.
Right.
They don't get recruited by these big schools. And then we have some Central Valley guys. We love it when a Central Valley kid walks on the team. And we love it more when they are offered a scholarship and they recognize talent, because it doesn't happen a lot.
There's been some different big recruits that came out of Fresno very specifically and the surrounding areas. Obviously, the one that comes to mind most recently is the running back for Georgia now, Kendall Milton.
Right.
But one that also didn't end up going to Fresno State was Josh Allen. And that one, I would argue Fresno State as an organization kind of screwed up on that.
That was bad. I read the story on it. It's bad. May I share?
Yes, go.
So I played basketball against Josh Allen and baseball against him. I didn't play football. Thank God.
Yeah.
He would have killed me. But anyways, so he was a stud. He wanted to go to Fresno State. That is the school he wanted to attend. At the time, we had a bad coach. His name was Tim DeRuiter. He's now the defensive coordinator at Oregon. Thank goodness. I hope he just totally ruins their program. But because I hate Oregon. DeRuiter, he and his staff came in and said, no, we have the quarterback. You don't fit our style. And we had a short running quarterback that was throwing the ball.
Right.
And then we got Zach Greenlee, who actually was on Trent Dilfer's Elite 11, but we were his only offer. So I don't know what that says about him. Well, he ended up getting in a fight, in parties and fights, and he ended up transferring.
Right.
So it doesn't. Anyways, Josh Allen wanted to come to Fresno State. They said no. He then went to, and he had no offers. Right. He went to JUCO college around here, and then he still had no offers at the end of his JUCO year. He put a highlight tape together, sent it to everybody. I hope I'm getting this right, Josh. Send me a message. And he sent out highlights, and he sent it to like every school. He got 2 offers, Wyoming and Eastern Michigan. He got those 2 offers, and he said he called Fresno State and said, hey, look, I want to play for you guys. Like, do you have a walk-on spot? Do you have, a half scholarship? Is there anything? I want to play for Fresno State. They said, no, sorry, Josh, we don't want you. And the rest is history. Now he's top 5 QB in the NFL. And we could have had him. And there was a running back for Utah. I forget his name. We could have had him from the Central Valley. And he wanted to play for Fresno State, coming out a JUCO guy. But Fresno State has had huge problems transferring classes and things like that. They need to get their crap together.
It sounds to me like you've had a bad history with you had a bad streak, maybe, of like maybe a few bad coaches or athletic directors or something like that, where it kind of hurts your program a little bit.
Well, and Marcus McMarion, we even missed on he went to Oregon State. He didn't even come to Fresno State. Then he was a grad transfer. And I don't, whatever you think about Colin Kaepernick, he was a pretty good college quarterback at Reno, Nevada. And he's from our area.
Right.
And we missed on him too. It's hard to watch sometimes when you see these awesome kids,
players from your area go and succeed in the NFL,
and we missed on him. Sometimes we don't have a shot. Like Kendall Milton, I don't like. He didn't want.
Right.
He didn't want to.
Right. He didn't want to come. He said he wanted to go to Georgia because he wanted less playing time. I guess I don't remember, but less wear and tear, I guess. But
you know what? And a lot of people I talk to, and me especially, I feel this way. I don't want them. If they don't want to be there, I don't want them. Right. Because I would much rather take Ronnie Rivers, who is our running back right now, and Jordan Mims and John Bigelow. And Ronnie Rivers, his dad played for Fresno State, and he wanted to be there. Jordan Mims, I don't know too much on Jordan Mims other than I just absolutely love him. He runs so hard. And then Javon Bigelow, he's a local kid, and he wants to be in Fresno. And those are the kids I want. So
Right. Well, there's absolutely something to be said about, I mean, everybody goes, uh, you pick a college. It doesn't have to be the area that from your, where you're from. But yeah, once you're at that college, you're not from here, you're from there. It's
Right.
and it's very interesting seeing that where it's like I've noticed in the NFL or even NBA or stuff like that. It's like, oh, where's he from? Oh, he went to Georgia, or he went to Maryland, or he went to, Nevada. And
Mhm.
it's not about where they were born or, where they went to high school. It's more about where they went to college. And I don't know why, but I do think that's very interesting.
Mhm.
But um Fresno State's football program specifically, you I keep going towards football because that's what I know best.
Uh-huh.
So
No worries, no problem.
but yeah, so you had Marcus McMaryion, I believe that was 2 years ago. Maybe three
Well,
now,
2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3 years. Now, your quarterback this year, I believe, is a transfer
Mhm.
from Washington.
Yeah, Jake Hayner.
Yes. Was he your quarterback last year?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
he
And how did
was.
he do? How did he do last year? And how are you optimistic heading into this year about your quarterback position?
Oh, yeah. I think Jake Hayner's a stud. Of course, you can always learn. He held on to the ball. He a little too long sometimes. Every QB has this problem, right? You come into a new team,
Right.
you have new wide receivers, new coaching, new playbook, all this stuff, right? So what happens is sometimes you hold on the ball too long, or you tuck the ball too early and run. And I think that's kind of what happened. And and we only played 6 games during COVID
Right.
COVID
Yeah, you
season.
barely played anything. So
We
it
just
was,
played Mountain West teams.
yeah.
Uh, and so I don't think we introduced our entire playbook. I, I,
I mean, I would believe it, and I would be a little bit disappointed if you had.
right. No, we are absolutely loaded on both sides of the ball now. Um, because everybody could return, they get that year back. Ronnie Rivers came back. Our running backs are loaded. We have 4 freshman quarterbacks. We have 2 redshirt freshmen and 2 true freshmen that I think will redshirt. And then we have Jake Hayner, who's like a 6th-year senior, something like that.
Right. Yeah, he's been playing for a while now.
Yeah.
Now,
So
he was Washington's starting quarterback until two different transfers, I believe, came in and pushed him out.
I don't know the story.
I don't remember. I think there might have been someone else who transferred in and got the starting position over him, but Jacob Eason then transferred in and got the starting position and did, whatever. He might now be starting for the Colts. We'll have to see. But
I know is that Washington, you have to have the first name Jake to be a starting quarterback. It's like
yeah.
Jake Browning, Jake Beeson, Jake Hayner. Uh,
Absolutely. But yeah. So and then Hayner decided to transfer to
yeah.
Fresno State.
No, we're happy to have him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, would you say your best Fresno State, as far as their athletics go, would you say their best kind of program would be their baseball program?
No.
Most
I,
successful? What
I
what would their most successful be?
well, it's most recent success is I mean, we've won the Mountain West a few times in the basketball. But I
Okay.
mean, baseball, yes, consistently, but granted, I think our equestrian team is very good.
Interesting.
We have one of the top equestrian teams in the nation. And then our women's water polo team did, I think they made semifinals or quarterfinals of the tournament this last year. And we just started. Our head coach for women's water polo is awesome. Met her a couple times because we have a family connection with the water polo team there.
Right.
And the coach is so cool. She's so good. She won like 4 national championships at UCLA as a player. She's a freak. freaky good.
Right.
And so I think that, and she started the program as the coach, and she's only been getting it better. And I only see more and more just, you know, you see these water polo players, they will kill you. And so you have these females walking around campus like, yeah, they're a water polo player. Their shoulders are two of me. So
dude, I'll tell you what, water polo is, it can be pretty violent.
Yeah, but I think it's a women's equestrian. Our women's water polo is good. Our baseball and softball teams are both really good. And then our women's basketball team has been very good. That, after thinking about it, our women's basketball is probably the most consistent and most well coached for the past so many years. They've been really good. Men's basketball, you know, we have some studs come through there. We can't figure out how to get enough W's on the board to get to the tournament.
Right.
But they're fun to watch. And then our football team, we're going to be good. We're coming back. So
I'm excited to hopefully consistently see Fresno State in the top 25 again. Cause
yeah,
I remember when I was younger, I would go to Georgia games and they would put up on the big board, you know, they put up on the
top 25.
Yeah, they put the top 25 up, and every week, you know, obviously I was looking for Georgia because we were at a Georgia game, Georgia fan. But next one I'd look for was Fresno State because of you guys. And yeah, when I was younger, I remember seeing it quite a few times in the top 25. But then like it would move out of the top 25 and I'd be like, where's Fresno State? My dad was like, oh, they're not in the top 25. And I was like, okay, well, where are they? And he's like, well, they don't rank after the top 25. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
but
it was a bummer.
Yeah, but then you ended up at being labeled the worst team in college football for 1 year, and then
we fought, and then Tedford came and we won like 10, 11 games.
Yeah, you guys did really well then. Very next year, yeah,
and the year after that we won double-digit games in a bowl game. I mean, it's been great.
Worst team in the league, huge jump up, and it's plateaued.
It's only happened once,
obviously
in the
last
history.
Season, but
yeah, it only happened once in the history of college football that someone has gone from one win to double-digit wins.
Yeah,
and that was us
pretty crazy
ago. On our defense was crazy.
Not much you can say about that other than
yeah. While it's on my mind, you know, you started with the question like, why are you a Fresno State fan? And I just wanted to throw out some names that I thought of when I was younger that guys I looked up to.
Right.
And so I was a basketball player and I loved Melvin Ely. If you don't, people who don't know
clue who that is.
He played in the NBA for a little bit, but we had Melvin Ely and Coach Tarkanian. He chewed on the towel. He coached UNLV to national championships and things like that. He was a crazy coach.
Fun.
But he coached at Fresno State and he chewed on this towel. And then in the football world, Pat Hill, obviously. And then I didn't get to watch Trent Dilfer play, but I got to watch David Carr. And you probably don't know these guys, but a quarterback named Paul Pinniger. And we had a tight end named Bear Pasco, who was
heard his name.
Yeah, he was a stud. Ben Jacobs, I believe, was our linebacker. And Chris Carter.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we had two stud linebackers. And then my favorite player of all, probably the most entertaining player after Derek Carr and Devontae Adams I've ever watched at Fresno State is Ryan Matthews.
Yeah, no, and he was in the NFL for a while.
Yeah,
for a long time, actually. He was in the NFL for quite a while.
Struggled with some injuries in the NFL.
Yeah, but he was a good for a very long time. They bring him in as kind of like a veteran, like, oh, team that needs a wide receiver,
right, or running back.
Sign Ryan Matthews, or running back. Yeah, right, running back. Yeah, sign Ryan Matthews. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, so he was a freak athlete, and if he stuck around, I think he declared early for the NFL draft. But if he stuck around, he would have owned every record.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had but we've had some really good players come through. And then the year we won the national championship, I believe was 2008 for Fresno State baseball, was probably the happiest moment. It's like top 10 happiest moments of my life for sure. If we did a tier list like we do on Wednesdays,
Right.
of moments in our
Happiest
life,
moments in
it
your
would
life.
probably make top tier.
Be S tier.
Yeah, it would be S tier for sure. I mean, it's one of those things, you remember exactly where you were, what was happening. It was awesome, man.
Oh yeah, I'll never forget beating Alabama in the SEC championship to take us to the playoffs.
Well, I did want to say,
I don't know how that worked out, but
yeah. Do you remember who we beat in the national championship for baseball?
Oh yes, I do.
Yeah,
I believe it was UGA.
Yeah, it was. And
only time I've ever seen our teams play each other in anything. And yeah, they pulled out the win by it was close. I remember that, but I don't remember anything else about it.
Yeah,
I remember it was a good game though.
And we beat Stanford to get there. So, which is, my dad's alum. That was all. It was so fun. So fun.
Just the whole family thing. And we've always said, if Fresno State or Stanford played Georgia, we'd all go to the game, but it's not happened.
No.
In a very, very long time. They almost played in the Rose Bowl one year. But that being said,
well, people don't want to score. They don't want to schedule Fresno State because it's a lose-lose for them. And especially now, back in the day, it was a lose-lose, and now it's a lose-lose.
Because now if you lose to Fresno State, then that looks really bad.
And they're tough, and they're a tough team, so it's not an easy game.
Right.
But if you beat Fresno State, it's a Mountain West team. You're supposed to win.
You're not going to get any kudos for it.
Yeah, and the reason that it's a bigger, for the bigger market teams, it's a lose-lose anyways, but it's definitely a lose-lose because you're playing Fresno State, who's very tough and is a good team.
Yeah. Well, kind of final question, kind of round out the episode, but just kind of in general, what has watching Fresno State athletics and, whatever it is you've always watched, that I don't know exactly. I know football, but I don't know what else. But but yeah, what has watching Fresno State? How has that impacted your life? And how moving forward in life, there are things that kind of shape you as a person. Mm-hmm. And how would you say that the Fresno State has changed you?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Well, I think
it's a big one.
Fresno State. Well, watching Fresno State, so I think it's made me who I am, and I didn't even play sports at Fresno State unless you count intramurals, which I loved my time at Fresno State. It was so fun. I have all my best friends are from Fresno State. Anyways, I lived in the dorms there, but the reason I went to Fresno State is because I started going to games when I was young. I wanted to go to Fresno State. So it was the only school I applied to. There was no plan B. I was going to Fresno State or bust. And I lived in the dorms, and I ended up meeting my wife there. So, completely changed my life.
Sure.
And thank God I met my wife, and she's the best. And then, I've learned about wine. I learned about, agriculture, and I met tons of friends, so that has totally affected my life. And it's all started. I want to say it all started by going to games and wanting to go there, and then now my love for Fresno State only grew when I was attending school there. And so I wanted to do something because I feel like we are so underrated, and the marketing that we have is so far behind from like Power 5, that I wanted to do something to, represent Fresno State and, get Fresno State out there. So I started a podcast, which I've met so many cool people just because of that. I was on a radio show. Not radio. I was on a podcast, it's called the Quack 12, and because we play Oregon, and they reached out and wanted to talk to me. So they know I hate Oregon, and they still talk to me. So I get to do fun things like that now.
Right.
I don't make any profit off of it, unfortunately, but it's fun. It's fun stuff.
Not yet.
Right. Not yet. So no, it has impacted my life to a large extent, and even with my siblings, we bond over it because we all went to Fresno State.
Right.
Well,
Kinda
3 of the 4. So
right. Yeah. Yeah.
but even the 4th who loves Fresno State. So
Yes.
and
Yes.
and then just people around. I've stayed in the valley, so most of the people here in the valley went to Fresno State, so something we can relate to and talk. So there's I have that as well.
It's something that unites the community.
Yeah. So recap, because I loved Fresno State growing up and I go to games, I met my wife because of that. I have better education in agriculture because of that. I have tons of friends because of that. So I mean, and it's all because of Fresno State athletics.
You are where you are because of going to some football games.
Weird to think about.
It is. It's strange how things can impact you, the smallest stuff. But yeah, no. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our episode. But thank you for answering my questions today, Mr. Nale.
It's fun. This is the first time I've ever been interviewed. This
is true. Yeah, that's true. He's usually the one interviewing because, as I mentioned, Beware Bulldogs. Great podcast. Check it out. He interviews other people, and I have never interviewed someone before, so this is the first for both of us.
Good practice.
Yes, it is.
So we thought that we were going to be getting to know something, but we're actually learning how to interview people.
We're learning how to interview.
So
know how to interview.
When our first guest comes on, wow, where'd you guys learn to do this?
Oh, we talk to each other a lot.
Yeah, right.
Every week. It's terrible. You can go listen to it. No, absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And yeah, go watch Fresno State Bulldogs. Go check out Beware Bulldogs podcast and check out our podcast or our show, West Nale Virus. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Anchor. All the links are in the YouTube description. If you're on YouTube.
And I want you to leave a comment, your favorite college and who you cheer for.
Yes, absolutely. Let us know who impacted your life as a child. And yeah, we're on TikTok, Instagram. That's about it.
I got to leave it with this. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.